What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, there's reports coming out that undefeated welterweight superstar title contender Jaron Boots Ennis. Jaron Boots Ennis, the phenom as I call him, 29 wins, no loss, no draw, 27 wins by way of knockout. He is 25 years of age, 5'10" with a 74-inch arm reach. That Jaron Boots Ennis, because he's the odd man out, as I stated, he's the odd man out, right? Jaron Boots Ennis is being X'd out by not only the fighters, but the sanctioning bodies. Okay, the sanctioning bodies are not honoring Jaron Boots Ennis. Okay, he is ranked top 2 in all the major sanction belts. Okay, he's #1 in the IBF, International Boxing Federation, with Mr. Peoples. They don't want to uproot their current champions. There's 2 champions only, which is the unified 3-belt WBC, WBA, IBF welterweight world champion, superstar boxer who's widely considered to be top 2, if not #1, definitely top 5 pound for pound best fighters in the world, and Errol the Truth Spence Jr. Okay, Errol Spence Jr. is 28 wins, no loss, no draw, 22 big wins by way of knockout. He is 32 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. And the other champion is WBO, undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the reigning WBO welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the #1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and Terrence Bud Crawford, with a record of 38 wins, no loss, no draw, 29 big wins by way of knockout. He is 35 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. With that said, Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence make for the biggest fight in boxing. They both undefeated, undisputed. They're not going to fight this year. And so since they're not going to fight this year, right, it's a mad scramble. But Terrence Crawford is going to fight against Armenian-Russian star welterweight title contender David Avanesian, December 10th. And Errol Spence looks like he's on course to fight former unified WBA, WBC welterweight world champion superstar boxer Keith one-time Thurman. So because he's going to fight Keith Thurman, he's going to fight Avanesian. The mandatories, which is Ennis Stanionis, who's the WBA regular and mandatory challenger for Errol Spence. Keith Thurman's the WBC. Somehow he leapfrogged Jaron Boots Ennis, and now he's the WBC mandatory challenger for Errol Spence, which it should have been Jaron Ennis 2 times over. He should be the IBF mandatory and the WBC mandatory, right? But he got leapfrogged, okay? And then you have undefeated Mexican superstar title contender Vergil Ortiz Jr. Vergil Ortiz is 19 wins, no loss, no draw, 19 wins by knockout. He was the WBC and WBO champion, and suddenly he was the Terrence Crawford's mandatory. He could have opted to push for that. He chose not to. He's the WBC mandatory #1 challenger. He opted not to push for that, which allowed them to leapfrog him with Keith Thurman instead of Jaron Ennis. He's not looking to fight Jaron Boots Ennis, okay? And then Ennis Stanionis has now been ordered to fight Vergil Ortiz. Well, why wouldn't they order Vergil Ortiz to fight Jaron Boots Ennis? And why didn't they order Jaron Boots Ennis and Ennis Stanionis? Because of politics in the sport of boxing. So Keith Thurman asked for $10 million to fight Jaron Boots Ennis. Vergil Ortiz team said they needed 48 months, which is 4 years. Ennis Stanionis doesn't even know what's going on. They ordered him to fight Vergil Ortiz out of the blue. And that leaves Jaron Boots Ennis in no man's land, that he's reportedly coming back January 7th on Gervonta Tank Davis undercard in Washington, D.C. So then it started to be, people were reporting that Jaron Ennis could possibly fight Gabriel Maestre, who's most known for his controversial victory over Mikhail Fox. Okay, Gabriel Maestre has a total of 5 fights in his career. Okay, he's 4 wins, no losses, 1 draw, 3 wins by way of knockout. He's 36 years of age, 5'10" with a 73-inch arm reach, out of Venezuela. Okay, he fought Michael Fox August of 2021, controversy victory, where he clearly lost the fight against Mikhail Fox, right? And it gave him the victory. And then he fought Shalesky, and he fought to a split decision. He has a total of 5 fights. He's the man that's being linked to Jaron Boots Ennis, right, as a next opponent. There's another guy out there. Jaron Boots Ennis is not getting the respect he deserves, okay? Jaron Boots Ennis is not being valued how he should. Jaron Boots Ennis is the phenom, and everybody sees him coming. And nobody wants Jaron Ennis to upset the money, upset the apple cards, okay? And rock the foundation as they have it set. Point blank and period. Here's the reason why the WBC has ordered Keith Thurman to leapfrog Jaron Ennis. Keith Thurman fought 3 times in 6 years since unifying the belts against 2-division world champion Puerto Rican superstar boxer Danny Swift Garcia, March of 2017. Keith Thurman fought that fight, March of 2017. Then Keith Thurman was out the ring for 2 years, came back, he fought Josito Lopez January of 2019. Then he fought Manny Pacquiao July of 2019, and he lost to Manny Pacquiao. Then he was out the ring again from July of 2019 to February 5th of this year, 2022. Against a guy that was dropped 3 times and knocked out by a lightweight who jumped up 10 pounds in Mario Barrios, who was stopped by Gervonta Tank Davis, knocked out. Tank Davis moved up from 130 to 140 to fight Mario Barrios and knocked him out. Mario Barrios moves up to welterweight, challenges Keith Thurman, and he hurts Keith Thurman multiple times. Now, Keith Thurman was tagging him and outboxing him, as he should. He's the superior fighter. He's the better fighter. So Keith Thurman was tagging him and bruising him up and hitting him clean. But Keith Thurman should have stopped Mario Barrios, who moved up 7 pounds. Okay? Keith Thurman's a naturally bigger guy and strong guy, and considered himself one-time Thurman at one point. He should have been able to knock out Mario Barrios. He didn't. And it was an okay performance. Keith Thurman should have looked much better than what he did. Okay? He should have looked much better than what he did. He looked vulnerable. He was hurt to the body like he was in his last 2 fights before that fight against Manny Pacquiao and Josito Lopez. But they mandated that fight to be the WBC mandatory title eliminator. Out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. It's Matt Black. Yeah, no problem. Pardon me, people. People chasing me down, saying they know me and what kind of car I got. Anyway, so that didn't warrant Keith Thurman to be the mandatory challenger. He fought 3 times in 6 years. So how did he leapfrog Jaron Boots Ennis when Jaron Ennis is not getting his opportunities to prove himself, right? And he's the mandatory challenger. He's ranked in the sanctioned bodies. Keith Thurman wasn't ranked in none of the sanctioned bodies. Then out of nowhere, Keith Thurman became ranked, popped up in the ranking system of the WBC and became the mandatory challenger. That's what happened with Keith Thurman, right? So Jaron Boots Ennis, in my opinion, needs to push for another guy who made himself the mandatory, and that's Cody Crowley. Cody Crowley is 21 wins, no loss, no draw, 9 wins by way of knockout. Okay, Cody Crowley, he upset the apple card, right? He shocked the world, became Errol Spence's mandatory. That's who should be Jaron Boots Ennis' next fight. Cody Crowley. They should order that fight, since Cody Crowley essentially seems to be pricing himself out, okay, of the fight. So Jaron Ennis is 3 in the WBC, behind Virgil Ortiz and Keith Thurman. Okay, Jaron Ennis is 2 in the WBA. So they ordering Stanionis versus Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz is ranked 1 and 2 in the WBC, right? This is what I was trying to explain to people when they're talking about he's going to lose his position. No, he's not. Errol Spence's IBF mandatory is Jaron Boots Ennis, number 1. Okay? And the WBO, Jaron Boots Ennis is number 2 in the WBO. So Virgil Ortiz is number 1 in 3, is number 1 in the WBA and in the WBO, right? Virgil Ortiz is ranked number 2 in the WBC, right? And Virgil Ortiz is ranked number 3 in the IBF. So Amanda Stanionis is the WBA regular champion, right? But Virgil Ortiz and Jaron Ennis are neck and neck in all the sanctions. Why wouldn't they order Virgil Ortiz and Jaron Boots Ennis and let Stanionis fight Cody Crowley, right? Okay? Cody Crowley is ranked 6 in the WBC, okay? Cody Crowley is not ranked at all in the WBA, which is, I don't know how that could be possible. Then he's ranked 10 in the IBF. And in the WBO, I don't know how Cody Crowley jumped out. And he's 7th in the WBO. I don't know how he beat Abdubov, who was Errol Spence's mandatory. He beat him for the IBF mandatory position. And then he jumped out. Now he's jumped out the rankings? Well, that's the guy that Jaron Boots Ennis needs to be fighting next. And somebody needs to order Cody Crowley to fight Jaron Boots Ennis. Gabriel Maestre does nothing for Jaron Boots Ennis' career. Absolutely nothing. It sets him back. He does absolutely nothing. He fought to a draw in his last fight, and his fight before that against Mikhail Fox, he actually lost. He was dominating the fight. He lost that fight to Michael Fox. And it was a bunch of controversy finding out that one of the judges worked for the WBA and all types of stuff. Right? Cody Crowley is the man Jaron Ennis needs to be fighting next. And Showtime president of sports, Stephen Espinosa, need to assure Jaron Ennis that he fight Cody Crowley next, since he ain't getting a Amanda Stanionis fight. That's what needs to happen next, point blank and period. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section, let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all in one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.